Hello and welcome to MLL 400 Guar, Reading and Analysis of Cultural Texts, the Literature of Travel in the 20th Century. My name is Frederick Green and I teach Chinese language and literature in the Department of Modern Languages and Literatures, and I welcome you all to join us on this journey around the globe in a year when nobody can travel in person, so we have to content ourselves with traveling in our minds, which I will promise you will be just as exciting. In this first recording this week, I want to introduce myself to you, and I want to introduce our course and our iLearn site. So what is MLL 400 all about? Well, we will explore works of travel literature written in many of the languages of our department, that is in Chinese, Japanese, French, German, and Spanish, but we will read them in English translation. However, you're always welcome to read them in the original if you wish to do so. These works will span the entire 20th century, and by way of these texts, we will explore the act of traveling from a number of different perspectives. Travel as motivated by romantic longing and exoticism, travel in the context of colonialism, travel for political and educational reasons, and travel as exile. We will examine these texts from multiple angles. We will ask ourselves to what degree is the work a product of the language or culture that produced it? What kind of image does it project of the culture or country the writer is traveling to? What larger socio-historic phenomenon is the work responding to or a product of? These are just some of the questions. There might be others. At the same time, because this is a Guar class, a writing class, we will hone our writing skills, so there'll be plenty of writing opportunities. Finally, as you know, this is an online class. Most of it will be conducted asynchronously, so you can do it at your own pace. However, we will have one optional weekly discussion session every Wednesday from 5 to 6 in the afternoon, which will be conducted via Zoom, and to which I welcome all of you. Now, as I said, this will be a journey around the globe and through time, so to speak. We will start with some Chinese poetry written by a poet called Huang Zunxian, who went to Japan in the late 19th century. We will then read a Japanese work by a writer called Moriogai, who traveled to Germany at the very end of the 19th century. We will then pick up a German language writer, Hermann Hesse, who traveled to East Asia, to Singapore, at the beginning of the 20th century, followed by a French writer, Paul Morand, who traveled all over Europe in the 1920s, and we will read a work about his travels to Catalonia. We will then read another Japanese work by Yosano Akiko, who traveled to Manchuria, that is northeastern China, in the late 1920s. We will then read, you can follow along here, right now we're here at the bottom. We will read another Chinese work by the writer Xu Xu, who traveled to Italy in the 1930s, followed by a German language work written by Anna Segers, who was an exile who left Germany during the Third Reich and who eventually went to Mexico. Then we will read an American writer, Donald Ricci, who traveled to Japan in the 1970s, followed by a Taiwanese writer who traveled to the Sahara Desert in the 1990s, and finally, a Spanish language writer, Andreas Neumann, who traveled to Latin America, actually in the 21st century. So, this is what awaits us. Quick word about assignments. There is going to be reading and review quizzes every week, based on my lecture and the readings. Everybody has to write 7 critical reading responses, the first of which this week. And there is a rubric. The rubric is not going to be relevant for this week, but for all the others. new quizzes and lectures will always be posted on Sunday, and assignments are also always due on Sunday. There's going to be a midterm paper that you will have to revise and that will undergo peer review. There's going to be a final paper and a final presentation, and there's going to be a vocabulary forum. I'll say a few words about that in a minute. And as I already said, attendance of our discussion forum, while it's optional, it will boost your grade, of course. So I welcome you to attend that. Now, let me take you to our iLearn site. So the iLearn site will evolve throughout the semester, so please visit it frequently. And it will be structured pretty much the same way every week. There's going to be a reading, followed by usually 2 quizzes and a forum. So you don't have to post a word to every forum, but you have to do 7 total, right? So this is how it will always be arranged. Now, I mentioned earlier that there is a vocabulary forum, right? So the vocabulary forum is on here. So since this is a writing class, I want you to learn lots of new words. So whenever you come across a word in the readings, I want you to look it up. I want you to look it up in a dictionary, and I want you to put the definition into the vocab forum, okay? Also, I want you to do a posting to our glossary to introduce yourself, okay? I've already done that, so you see that here, and you see a link to the glossary under week 1. Please spend a little bit of time exploring our iLearn site. There's a lot of very important information on here. There's campus services and resources, a book that you should flick through. There is a link to the Tutor and Academic Support Center. Okay, if you would like to have a tutor go over your writing assignments before you submit them, this is a great resource. There are rubrics. This will be updated as we go along. And there is a little clip that I all want you to watch about the importance of dictionaries. So as I said, for the glossary, I want you to just answer a few questions. What's your name? What's your major? What's your favorite travel destination, past or future? So you can either talk about where you've traveled to or where you would like to travel to once this pandemic is over. Why are you taking this class? And please just don't tell me it's a requirement. Make up something fun. What's been your silver lining this year, this difficult year? Well, this past difficult year that lies behind us. Has there been anything positive that has come out of this? Anything else you would like to share? And please, very important, upload a photo. I've put instructions how to do all this once you click the glossary. Maybe the important thing to remember is that when you upload the photo, do it in the text box and click the photo image. Yeah, don't attach it. Don't attach it as an attachment. And also, you probably should sort of try to resize the photo a little bit so it's not too huge. The other thing I would like you to do is to post a little self-introduction video of yourselves just for 1 minute via Flipgrid. Okay, I've posted a link to that on our iLearn site. And again, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Sort of similar things to what you might have put into your glossary entry already. But since this is an online class, I think it would be nice if we all heard each other's voices and saw each other's faces. So that's the Flipgrid. Now, every week we're going to be reading a text of travel literature by a national writer. The exception is this week we're just going to read a very general article about travel literature. It's called Anywhere Out of This World and Why All Writing is Travel Literature. Okay? Now for this week, I also want you to do a little forum posting. Okay, this is your first forum posting. It's going to be a little different from all the others. And I want you to think about a few questions. Well, first of all, I want you to read this article. And I want you to think, why does the author that all writing is travel literature? What does he mean by that? And then the author talks about the difference between a traveler and a tourist. What does he mean by that? And are there any other kinds of travelers? And why do we travel in the first place? And why do you travel? And why do we like to read travel literature? Or why do people like to write travel literature? And what can it tell us or teach us? And what can it do to us? So, as you see, the first two questions are kind of specific to that essay, and the others are more general, and they can be your own reflection, or they can be what you sort of take away from that article. Okay? Now, the one last thing, I already mentioned that. So when we looked at the iLearn site, I mentioned that there is a vocabulary forum. Okay? So for this class, everybody has to post at least 5 items. Okay? You have to post 5 items. But any additional item that you post will boost your grade. Okay? But please remember that you cannot replace assignments. So you cannot post 1 million vocabulary entries and replace your first or second paper with that. Okay? No, you still have to do the assignments, but you can boost your grade. Okay? If you're a B+ student and you have a ton of vocab postings, you can turn that into an A grade. Okay? And I've posted instructions to the iLearn site. Very important, I want you to watch that little clip, the write well, here is some advice clip, okay? Watch that clip. It's going to be part of our little review quiz for this week. So very important, okay? Now, there is a link under the vocabulary forum that takes you to the Oxford English Dictionary, okay? You don't have to use this dictionary, but this is just a wonderful dictionary. You can also use dictionary.com or other dictionaries to look up the definitions, but the important thing is you have to post the definition of the word that you look up, okay? So there was one word in that article we read for this week, Terra Incognita, which is a very nice word, I think, when it comes to travel literature. Okay? And what motivates us, or what has motivated travelers in the past to go out there and to travel. Posted the definition on iLearn onto that vocabulary forum. So if you do not know that word, you should start by checking out our vocabulary forum and use this as an incentive to look up other words that you might come across. So that's it for this week. Again, I would like you to explore our iLearn site. I would like you to post a little self-intro to our class glossary. I would like you to post a little 1-minute self-intro video to our Flipgrid classroom. I would like you to read that text anywhere out of this world. I want you to complete that first quiz of ours, and I want you to post a forum post for this week. So everybody has to do one this week, and in the future you can choose, so that you're gonna have to do 6 more after this. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. And I hope to see you all on Wednesday for our first discussion forum. Have a wonderful semester, and once more, I'm excited that you're all part of this class and that we will venture on this journey together.